Hello everyone, it's Dave, JD Cycleworks. Today we got a fun one to show you here. They don't always turn up perfect. This is a 2024 Road Glide with a 122 Redshift 528 cam, which we previously tested with the 117 and a ding ding. It worked out really well. Anyway, this one here has a heavy breather and has this S&S 2-to-1. The S&S 2-to-1 was never really one to make things work well. I did have one a few weeks ago that worked okay, and I said, hey, there's promise with this pipe. Well, I'm wrong. So let me show you what happened today. Okay, this is, let me see how the bike was running first and I rolled it. Okay. The blue line is how the bike was running when it first rolled in here. I made some adjustments. You can see it came up to 139 and 118, but see how it comes up? Just falls down. Let me bring that back up. See how it just comes up and it falls down. So I said, okay, well, I'm gonna check for something. So I pulled the plug out of the bottom of the case and I measured the oil coming out. It's within spec. So I said to the customer, I said, well, maybe your cam timing's off. Maybe, or it's that or your exhaust. He says, well, I know I did right. I said, well, let's check. So we pulled the exhaust off. We checked it. He's right. He did a good job. So I said, all right, well, since we have this beautiful swing arm, we can't put a long one on because we tried. So we figured, I said, okay, well, let me pull out the dB reducer and see what happens. Okay. So I put the S&S exhaust back on, pulled the dB reducer out, and we got this. Where's your torque? Well, it's history. It's gone. That's 2,500 RPMs. Oh. Yeah, he gained some number. Hey, 144 torque, 123 horse. We picked up, but it's only from 3,500 RPMs over. Not what you want for low RPM usage on a bike. So I said, all right, well, let me just try cutting the dB reducer up and make it into a kind of reduction cone. What do we got to lose? So I did that. And I put that in there. And look what happened. Now, trying to make it a little clearer for you guys to see. We got 143 torque, but you can see how it's coming on harder. We got more, but just falling down. So I can cut this reducer a little more, but I'm kind of, banging my head against the wall here. The pipe is what it is. It's just not the best pipe. So here's what's funny. I'm gonna really make it fun here. I'm gonna bring up our best. And this is the part that's confusing. Well, everybody's bike is different. Let me see if I can find one I did a few weeks ago with a 114 in this exhaust and I believe it was an Andrews 465 or something cam. Check this out. So that bike with this exhaust and the dB reducer, for what it was, I think it worked pretty darn good. Killer torque, but you can see it fell over right here too in the same spot. But still, for a 114, the cam upgrade, that's very respectable. This is not respectable for a 122 with this cam. So I'm gonna show you one more thing. We did the same cam in a 117 a little while back in a 23.5 or 24, a new bike with an impact ECM. By the way, this is a Thunder Max bike. We're using Thunder Max today with this one. Here we go. Let me bring him up. Here it is, check it out. The green line is a 2024 Road Glide, same as this, 117. Same cam, Redshift 528. Yep, same one. Same cam, says it right there. But look at this, the D&D, which by the way, they're fixing their problems with blowing people's engines up. Came on, a little soft here as I would expect, but nice curve. Look at the power it put out. Why is this not showing my numbers?
I don't know.
Anyway. Anyway, so with the D&D and the 117, with that same cam, we got 141 max torque and 131 horse. This bike we got with my makeshift dB reducer reduction cone, which I can modify some more, but I'm not going to. So I'm kind of kicking a dead horse here. We got 141 max, but then its delay is over. It says too much restriction, guys. Sorry, I'm out. You know, so that's kind of where we're at. Like I said, I can reduce that reduction cone, you know, open up the hole in a little more, probably get some of this back. But even when I had nothing in there, the pipe just shut down up in the high RPMs with no reduction cone or reducer. It kicked hard here, and yes, I can probably make this kick a lot harder here if I just open. I might open it up another quarter, 3/7 inch, and have almost a very little restriction, but I don't know if it's worth doing it right now because we know the pipe's not working.
So you would attribute that all to that pipe?
Yes.
This little shorty pipe?
Yes, this S&S short 2-to-1. The hard thing is with these short pipes, there really isn't too many that work really good. Everyone's a compromise. And HPI works pretty good. It's a little soft down low, be more top end. I believe I just did an SP Concept short bagger one, but they're hit and miss. The SP Concept pipes, every time I use one, is different. They merge together, the pipes, or they weld them together like right there. They're all different sizes. One will show power, one will just cut the power right the hell off. So it's hard to recommend that. You know, so as far as shorter pipes to tell you to get for your bagger for these cool swing arms, I really don't have a good answer to tell you. The only answer is maybe somebody can make a swing arm that fits full length pipes. Then we can use our Chromeworks pipes, our D&Ds, our Tab Redline, you know, our full length pipes which that we know work, that can make power. But the problem is right here. I got a little safety on here not to scratch this pretty thing up. They're too wide, these swing arms. They're beautiful, but you can even see this exhaust is shimmed out just to give a little clearance here.
And why do you have that piece there?
This is so that doesn't ruin that.
Oh, okay.
That's a timing belt for a car that I cut up. But it keeps this from hurting this, because I don't want to hurt this.
Okay.
Because it's pretty.
Right.
So that's kind of where we're at with this bike today. Possibly we'll review it again in the future when we figure out what we're going to do for different exhausts. I might try this, cutting this reduction cone. If I do and it makes a change, I might show you. I might not. I don't know right now. It's been a long day. I've been at this since pretty much a little after 7 this morning. It's now afternoon, and I'm getting old and getting tired. But again, I'd like to see the answer because I'm curious. You know, I'm just like you guys out there building these bikes and trying stuff. We're all curious. That's why we do this, because we're curious and what the hell it takes to make this stuff work. And when it don't work, we're trying to figure it out. You know, it's just what we do. We got issues. What can I tell you? You know, so anyway, that's what we got for you today. Hope you enjoy the video. Please like and subscribe. And again, if I do a change and show another run today, I'll have Jay show you something and I'll say something more. If not, we'll leave it at that. make a change and try it one more time. You know I had to touch it again. So here's what I did. I opened up that reduction cone a little more. Here's what's left of the original DB reducer that allowed us to get that torque curve. Like I said, I think if I gave an 1/8 inch smaller diameter, it may have been a little more balanced, but right now I think it's pretty darn good. I'm gonna get nice and shaky and get you all dizzy. And we got kind of a nice balance, I think, here. Okay, so let me show you here in progression. This is what we have now with the reduction cone opened up. I got a little more work to do on this, so disregard the popping and bumping it's doing. But now we got 143, 124, a little soft here, but the curve comes up pretty decent. Where before, with the smaller ID, it kicked like a mule and just died. I gave up some here. I think this area here being more balanced might feel a little better because it just shut down so hard here. I feel this would really not be good for the bike when you're cruising at those RPMs. So now, without any reduction cone, I want to show you what happened here. That's how it is now with the reduction cone opened up. It's probably only maybe about covering the whole maybe 3/7 inch, 1/4 inch of the baffle size. So if we go to no reduction cone, look at that. That was just horrible. So with a little bit of restriction, I got all this back. And I filled this back in. So the ultimate balance would probably be an 1/8 inch smaller in the hole. But again, I think right now, today we're just spending time experimenting to show you what these very, very small changes are doing with this exhaust system and how this bike's gonna operate. Right now, I think it'll be kind of the best of both worlds. A little soft, down 2,500 RPM areas, but still coming out of the hole at 120 some foot-pounds of torque before it ramps up. It's at 130 foot-pounds of torque at 3,000. Then it goes up to 140, 143, pretty much one, and 124 horsepower. So it's got as much of a good blend we can get out of this exhaust system. You know, so I'll show you them all again, the whole progression of today. So let's start off with here. Today, first thing that we did, this is how the bike ran when it came in. Now let's find, I believe, number 12. That's how we were after recalibrating. It just fell over. So then I said, well, let's check the exhaust, let's check cam timing, let's check something and all that, which I did. And then remove the dB reducer. And we got that. So I said, all right, well, let me just modify that dB reducer and make it kind of like reduction cone. So let's go down here. I believe we got this. Better than original, but still it's falling off really hard right here. We're in your passing zone, where you're passing cars and other vehicles, and you need that. And plus, with this much restriction, I think it's going to cause, you know, problems with detonation, because it's just going to cause lots of other problems, running issues. So now, here we are now, where it started off a little softer down here, but it's got a pretty good carry for the remainder. It's matching the curve with no dB reducer. It's kind of filled in within, I guess, about maybe 8 foot-pounds of torque here. But when you go to pass something or pull up a hill and he's up above 3,200 RPMs, it's got that power there to operate, you know, which I think is important. So that's what we learned today. And again, I can probably make the hole an 1/8 inch smaller and balance a little more, but I think this is pretty darn good. I have to keep going over this and get some stumbles and bumps out of it, which you heard. And then we'll go from there. So anyway, I hope you can find this whole video educational and explaining why baffling and exhaust pipes are so critical, and why people like me in the tuning world are always fighting this and trying to educate people
Sorry.
about what we see. And other people that don't care, well, they just sell you whatever's in a book. But you know, there's a lot to getting you a motorcycle that you can truly enjoy without lots of bad side effects. And having the correct parts and exhaust system and everything working right is part of it. That just gives you that nice balance of everything you need. Don't worry about that. So anyway, hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe. It's a little longer one. And hope you can get something out of it. Have a good day.